super lightweight Canadian champion Peter Cunningham. They call him Sugarfoot. Now, you got Crawford back in the ring after a layoff, after a year layoff. You offered him a 4 or 5 fight contract. At the end of the line, you want to see the world title. What do you think of his chances right now, Trevor?
I think they're good. If you can get by Pete Cunningham tonight, we'll probably get him one more fight, and then we'll probably get him a world title.
Will he get by Pete Cunningham, Sugarfoot?
It's a good question. The matchup reminds me of the classic between Roberto Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard. Pete Cunningham is flashy, he's fast, and he's a mover. Crawford, hard punches, hard kicks.
And Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham would do nothing to dissuade anyone from comparing him to the great Ray Leonard. Only 19 years old, the Canadian super lightweight champion, he tries to employ a similar strategy to that which Leonard used, only because of the nature of the sport with more weapons.
What you want to do, what any kickboxer would want to do, is work the hands and the feet together instead of hands, then feet, then hands and feet. You want to make them together, get them as close as possible, all right, to work them as one.
And Sugarfoot appears to have that certain flash, that look, call it charisma, which possibly could propel him into an exciting light after the full contact karate.
Bruce is my hero, right? When I started off, right, that's what more or less got me into it. And I would like to get into films later on.
And if he could represent the sport as well as Bill Superfoot Wallace, who combines exhibitions and movie roles into a hectic schedule, it could ensure further growth for this still young sport. In the ring, Sugarfoot's ambitions are certainly not modest.
I'd like to become the world super lightweight champion or middleweight champion. They tell me I'm still growing, I'm still adding weight. So I'd like to become a champion. I'd like to become a world-class fighter.
Now, everybody who becomes involved in any individual sport wants to become a world champion. Do you really think you can do that?
I think I could. All it takes is a lot of dedication. Well, not all. It takes a lot of dedication and hard work, and I'm willing to do that.
No fighter likes to enter a bout without background on his opponent. In this case, Cunningham's knowledge of Crawford is limited.
Well, they tell me Dennis is a flashy fighter, very strong, and very confident, and that's the kind of fighter I'd like to meet in the ring, all right? Between us both, we should be able to put on a very good show.
Have you seen him before? Do you know what he fights like?
I've got an idea of what he moves like, but I haven't really seen him before.
And finally, just why do they call him Sugarfoot?
Because of my fast feet and my kicking ability. The media nicknamed me Sugarfoot.
Because you got sweet feet, you mean?
Sweet feet, that's right.
The possibility of Crawford becoming a world champion seemed quite probable just a couple of years ago, when at a big show at the Coliseum, the spinning back fist, a Crawford trademark, eliminated his opponent in the first round. Next, Super Battles 1. The opponent, Willie Gordon, an impressive unanimous decision. Then, retirement. A year layoff, Willie Gordon again. A precision body kick followed by a precision body punch, and Willie Gordon is in serious trouble in round 1. The fight is stopped in the second round. Impressive, but did it go long enough to remove the ring rust from a year of inactivity?
This fight I think is going to go a little longer. You know, I think it's going to go a few rounds, and that's what I need, Barry, is a few fights that probably go 7 or 8 rounds, you know, is what I need. So I get a little more experience, because I've laid off for a while, but I feel better. I'm a little older. You know, I think different about the fights and stuff, and, you know, you're a little more mature, and I've got the experience, eh?
Crawford has seen his opponent fight, both in person and on tape.
He's a very flashy fighter. You know, he's got lots of flashy kicks, but flashy kicks are for the camera, as you well all know.
And you're pretty flashy yourself.
Well, you know, what you do when you're fighting a tough opponent, you don't fight him with flash and stuff. You fight him with the basics that work.
You fight a boxer, you box a fighter, to quote a term from that other sport, boxing, but that's what you do, don't you?
Exactly.
You punish a guy that looks fancy.
That's the thing. He's going to be throwing lots of flashy kicks, and I'm going to be doing lots of leg kicks. He's going to get hurt bad.
The reception Crawford receives when he enters the ring is nothing short of tumultuous. Some would be unnerved. The Croft gathers the energy and uses it to his advantage every time he fights in the Lower Mainland.
I like to fight it in front of my hometown because I fight better, because I've got to get up for it. I've got to fight in front of my friends, and I know I have to do well, so it gets me more nervous for a fight, and when you're nervous for a fight, you fight well. I keep tight, and I come in and I bang, I hit hard. You know, I try to get out of the way of the punches and chase the guy down. You know, it's basically my game plan.
You're going to be nervous at the Hyatt Regency Hotel on March the 4th?
What do you mean?
Your opponent?
I'm nervous right now. I think so. I hope so, because if you're not nervous, like I say, then you're not ready. You know, you have to be nervous to be ready for a fight.
And you're ready?
I'm definitely ready.
The baseball bat versus the tire routine. It used to be part of the boxer's routine in the 1940s. It employs proper body motion and is great for the arms and shoulders. Ray Boom Boom Mancini brought it back, and the Crawford uses it too.
Still whacking that tire. I got it right over there.
Your prediction?
If Crawford can stop him, he'll win. If it goes the distance, Cunningham will take it.
Okay, we're going to hold him to that. Lots of action here at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. We'll be back with the semi-main event right after this. Stay with us. Trevor, semi-main event looks on paper to be a dandy. You've got Dennis Crawford, a former champion. He's now a welterweight. You've got in his opponent tonight, the current Canadian super lightweight champion. They're both winners in the past, and I don't think either one of them knows how to lose. They're both in excellent condition. What do you think of this one, Trevor?
It's going to be a good fight. As I mentioned earlier, it's like the classic bout between Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard. Pete Cunningham, a mover, a kicker, a fast puncher. Crawford, a fast puncher, fast kicker as well, but hard punches and hard kicks. And if Cunningham can move, he can stay out of the way of those punches and kicks, he'll do all right.
Now, Crawford, after a year out of the sport, he had been involved early in the Super Battle Series. He got out of it for whatever reason. He decided to get back in with his goal, a world title, 4 or 5 fights down the road. But first, he's got to get by one Sugarfoot Cunningham, undefeated, 19 years old. The bell for round 1. They don't call him Sugarfoot for nothing. He's got excellent feet, but he does know how to box too. And he's moving around the ring well. Cunningham is showing a little bit of boxing technique, throwing out that left jab. He looks like a boxer right now, Trevor.
He is a boxer. He's fought in amateur boxing, won a gold medal to the Alberta Provincial Boxing Championships. Good boxer, but he was in the kickboxing first, and that's his first.
And only 19 years old. What a prospect.
That's for sure. 19 years old, he can go a long ways.
Now, did you have any problem whatsoever convincing a guy like Crawford, who had been out of action and had but one pro fight previous to this in the last year, to get into the ring with a guy like Sugarfoot Cunningham?
Not at all. Crawford asked for the fight. He's ready to fight anybody.
Good right foot by Crawford.
Good exchanges in this first round.
Crawford with that trademark of his, that spinning back fist, and he doesn't miss that often, Trevor.
No, he doesn't.
Bit of a cut already on Dennis Crawford. Looks to be somewhere around the nose or the lip area.
I think Crawford might have a bleeding nose. I think that may be where the blood's coming from.
Now that can pose problems, but it's not nearly so bad as a cut up near the eye area, but it will affect his breathing perhaps. Good body kick by Sugarfoot.
Spinning back fist by Crawford just went over the head of Pete Cunningham.
I get the feeling early in this, halfway through this first round, that it may not go the distance. Both fighters are here for one reason, and that's the thing, and that's the bell for round 1. Just a very busy first round of action.
Pete Cunningham impressed me. He stayed in there with Crawford. He traded punches with Crawford. I didn't expect that at all. I thought Pete would be moving the whole time. I thought Crawford would be chasing him, but he's staying in there with him.
Very, very effective when he did move. He got up on his toes. He looked like he could go somewhere in the sport of boxing here in Canada, but he's decided that this is what he wants to do. He wants to get involved in full contact karate.
Dennis Crawford's trainer, of course, Myro Michael, former Canadian champion. and boxer. He's won numerous boxing titles across North America.
First round action. Having seen it, who's ahead?
I call that first round pretty even. I wouldn't like to pick a winner from that round.
Okay, ready for round two. It looks like it was Crawford's nose that was bleeding in that first round. A little bit of blood still trickling from his nostrils.
That's
but
not
he's
gonna be a
okay.
factor.
No, I don't think so.
Crawford could care less whether his nose was bleeding or what his face looked like. He's in there to beat Pete Cunningham.
That's right. Anybody go out and works hard, bangs a tire with a baseball bat all day long, you know he's ready to go. Crawford looks like he's going to have all he can handle early in this second round. Sugarfoot jumped in his face, threw some punches, landed a couple of kicks, and he had Crawford in trouble right in front of us. But now back to the center of the ring. Second round action scheduled, 7 rounds. Would you call this a welterweight fight? Is that what it's billed as, Trevor? Because we got a super lightweight up against a welterweight.
We've got a welterweight, Dennis Crawford, weighing in at 141.9 pounds. Pete Cunningham, 137.5 pounds, 4.4 pounds difference between these two.
Now, was that part of the contract? Crawford had to drop a little bit?
Crawford had to make 144 or less. He came in 2 pounds under. Cunningham, he just had to be around 140.
Is Crawford concerned about that? Because you do lose some strength. You get a little bit weaker when you have to drop weight.
Well, the other thing was that Crawford had the flu. He picked up a cold just about a week ago, and he kept training all the way through it. Whether that'll be a factor tonight,
it has been running around the lower mainland area. I know I picked it up a little bit myself. Crawford was down there in the second round. That was a slip. There was no knockdown. We're past the halfway point in this second round.
Good exchanges, good body movement by both fighters.
We've seen flashes of Sugarfoot's feet, but we haven't seen a heck of a lot. He looks to be
Pete uses
pretty good hands as well.
Certainly, Pete uses his kicks much like a jab. I don't think he'll do any serious damage with his kicks.
Crawford backing Sugarfoot back onto the ropes. He landed a couple of combinations. Doesn't look like he's got him in too much trouble, but he did score points.
Neither fighter in trouble, I don't think, Barry, at this point. Pete Cunningham looking confident.
I would think this would have to be one of the bigger fights that Sugarfoot has ever had.
I think so. This is definitely a milestone for Sugarfoot. This is definitely the toughest opponent he's ever fought.
How about coming to Vancouver, leaving his hometown of Edmonton? Is that going to be a factor for him, do you think?
I don't think so. Pete fought here once before in June of '82, and in the Coliseum against Gordy Gong. Unfortunately, the fight only went 2 rounds, and Cunningham split the skin of Gordy's eye, and the fight was stopped.
With a foot?
With a foot, right.
Sweet feet. Okay, that's the reason. Round 3, the road to a world title. That's what Dennis Crawford is thinking, but so is Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham. And both look like they may well have a chance to do that. So vicious looking kick by Dennis Crawford, blocked fairly well, but it will take its toll if he continues to throw those kind of kicks. Crawford, now he backs him up with his hands.
Cunningham keeping Crawford away with his kicks. Oh, just missed. Good exchange.
Good exchange. It looks like Cunningham got the better of it. Landed a good left hand. And Crawford, do you think he hasn't been put under this kind of pressure in a while?
That's for sure. He's come back. He's only had 1 fight since his retirement. That may be a factor here tonight. He knows he's in a fight.
Is he going to lose his cool when he starts taking a few shots? He looks like he's getting a little mad out there, Trevor.
It looks like he's a little frustrated, I think. I'm not sure what he expected Pete Cunningham to do. He's told me a week ago he saw a tape of Pete Cunningham. He said Cunningham couldn't hurt him if he brought a gun.
That's right. He said the same thing to me. Maybe this will open his eyes a little bit. Start giving Sugarfoot a little bit of respect. He looks like he deserves it.
The thing is, like I said earlier...
Good right-left combination by Crawford when he backs up Cunningham onto the ropes. Excellent left hand.
Maybe in trouble.
He looks like he's hurt, if at all, for the first time in this fight. His eyes a little bit dazed. Yes, he does.
So.
Looks like he's a little bit stunned. It was a left hand from Crawford that did it. Coming off a right, and he's got him in trouble again. A left-right combination.
Crawford will want Cunningham on the rope at this point, where he can do some damage.
And Crawford's walking in, taking a couple of punches, but he doesn't care about that kind of thing, and there's no doubt Crawford has got the killer instinct. If he gets him in trouble, he'll end the fight.
That's for sure. Contemplated a spinning back fist there. It looked like he went to turn, but changed his mind.
Hands up! Hands up, Pete! Hands up!
Cunningham going downstairs with his kicks, trying to do a lot of damage to the legs. That's a la a kickboxer out of Thailand. That's what they like to do. That's their style.
If the fight goes a distance, those leg hooks could be a big factor. If you can kick a guy's legs take him out of commission, then you can work him better with your own legs and hands.
What this country needs today is a really...
Even, however, I'll go with my previous statement that if this fight goes to distance, Cunningham could take it, just because of his flashiness. I think he's landed probably more head kicks, certainly, than Crawford has, and it's just up to the judges as to whether those kicks are scoring.
And yet I thought Crawford won that third round.
Quite possibly he did. He put in some good punches and some good kicks.
And he had him in trouble.
Certainly did.
Right in front of us now, Crawford backs him up. Cunningham spins him around, puts Crawford on the ropes. I don't think Dennis has a reverse gear, does he? He's coming forward.
No, he's going to go forward for this whole fight, no doubt about it.
And he's going to take some shots if, in fact, he does decide to do that, as it looks like he will do. Now, Cunningham will throw the kick, either foot, and a variety of different kicks. He'll give you the straight-on shot, he'll give you the spinning shot, he'll give you the downstairs and up top. He's got it all, Trevor.
That's for sure. Look at the way he's moving. He's dancing around that ring. I looked over at him during the break. He just winked at me. He feels he's got the fight under control.
And then we saw a body shot there downstairs by Crawford. That's the same punch that ended his last fight against Willie Gordon. So you have to give credit to Dennis Crawford. He does have punching power. He stopped fights with a body shot before.
Pete Cunningham getting warned there for throwing a leg kick on the break by Robin Webb, the referee. Crawford slipping those left jabs fairly effectively.
Crawford very content to walk in and take a couple of shots to give a couple of shots. He thinks, and maybe rightfully so, that if he can land that one big punch, he's a bigger hitter than Cunningham.
You can't take 3 punches to land one. It just doesn't work.
You're going to lose the numbers game, no doubt about that.
Unless you take out your opponent, you're going to lose when it comes to that.
At the same time, if you take that uppercut punishment over 3 or 4 rounds, you're not going to have that knockout punch when it comes to the late rounds of the fight.
That's right.
Seemed like a quick round. That's what happens when they're busy. We've got 4 rounds of a scheduled 7-round semi-main event. Dennis Crawford from Vancouver up against a Canadian super lightweight champion, Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham. It's been a dandy. Cunningham doesn't even look like he's breathing hard. Obviously in excellent condition. On the other hand, Crawford doesn't look that bad either.
Both fighters in excellent condition. Neither breathing really that hard. They've worked up a good sweat by this point, going into the 5th round.
Now, talking to Cunningham prior to the fight, what did he think? Was he going to end this thing?
He was confident. I don't think he thought he was going to end this thing. He knew he was up against the toughest fight of his career. All he wanted to do was go in there and do the job.
Get in town, pick up the money, and get out of Dodge before the referee changes his mind.
I think it's more than money for Pete Cunningham. He wants to fight anybody. He'll fight anybody anytime, same as Crawford. He wants to go somewhere, and this is the way to do it.
You got to be busy when you're 19 years of age or just getting started in the sport. You got to build up a record. You got to get experience. The only way to get experience is to get in the ring and fight. Under pressure conditions, and Dennis Crawford missing with that spinning back kick, but he follows up with a couple of good punches.
Crawford hasn't been able to use the spinning back fist probably as effectively as he would have liked to coming into this bout.
Well, neither fighter has had any problem whatsoever getting the complement of 8 kicks in during each and every round. They've been gone before the halfway mark.
That's for sure. Certainly no problem
Good
there.
Body shot right there. You heard about Dennis Crawford.
Pete Cunningham may be in trouble.
Yes, he did.
But he comes out of it and bounces. Looking good.
Well, that's a sign of a good fighter. He gets in trouble. He's able to cover up and stay away from the big punch, the big kick for the remainder of the round. Cunningham's done that on one occasion previously, and he's doing it right here in the 5th round.
Well, he knows if you're in trouble, you never show it to your opponent. Cunningham seeming tired at this point, not really wanting to do anything on the road. Yes, he does, but at the same
time, Crawford's starting to breathe harder than he has earlier as well.
Crawford seems to be pressing the fight, and then this, in the eyes of the judges, may be winning him this round. Certainly a close fight to this point.
Very, very close. And that round won't separate them any further. Close round. After 5, it's anybody's fight, in my mind. It'll come down the last 2 rounds.
I think so. It could go either way.
In the corner, he's take the taking the bulk of the punishment in this fight. His nose is bleeding, it's swollen, it looks like his eyes are a little bit puffy. Cunningham's been in trouble, but you'd never know it. He doesn't look any worse for the wear.
That's true, he doesn't.
Round 6. Scheduled 7-rounder.
Good exchange.
No big punches landed, however, a few thrown.
Ooh, hard leg kick by Crawford.
Crawford throwing a good tight left hook.
Crawford's scoring well right here.
Seems to be getting a second win, too. It looks a little bit more refreshed than he was in that 5th round.
I think Crawford would do well by using leg kicks and taking out that front leg of Cunningham's. Cunningham is keeping him away with that front leg kick and scoring with it as well to the midsection.
Going downstairs now. Crawford starting to back him up, trying to do some damage. But as you said earlier, Trevor, if he's not scoring more than he's absorbing, he's going to lose this fight on points when it's all over. Good spinning back fist by Dennis Crawford. Partially blocked, but it did a little bit of damage.
Both fighters seeming tired at this point. Both working, though, to the body.
Very tired. Those punches Crawford's throwing now, there's not nearly the power that was on them in those early rounds, and with good reason.
That's right, Barry. I'm not sure that Crawford has any knockout power left in his punches at this point. A good punch, a good right hand could do it, but he's certainly not what he had in the earlier rounds.
And to knock a guy out who's in the kind of condition that Cunningham is, and you're going to have to throw it, it's going to have to hit the sweet spot, and it's probably going to have to happen earlier than we're into this fight already. Oh, an overhand right, a vicious-looking one by Cunningham.
Fortunately, Crawford was spinning at the time, and most of the punch slipped.
6 rounds.
Another fairly early round.
Start the end, Trevor. That's a sign of a good fight. There's no break in the action whatsoever. Don't have a chance for boredom to set in. That's, as a promoter, what you like to see. These fans are loving it.
Certainly, action all the way through that.
And from a promoter's point of view, you got a dream fight here. If this goes 7 rounds and it's a split decision, you got a rematch. 7th and final round action coming up. Peter Sugarfoot Cunningham in the red, bottoms up against Vancouver's fan favorite, Dennis Crawford. And if one fighter's ahead, I don't know who it is. I'd have to call it just about dead even right now, Trevor.
Both fighters going to go for it in this round. This round could very well decide the fight. Pete Cunningham telling Crawford, come on.
It looks like he was complaining to the referee about something, but I couldn't quite understand what complaint he did have.
Referee Robin Webb watching both fighters closely. Good kick.
I wouldn't want to be a judge in this fight. Good leg kick by Crawford.
I think Cunningham scored on that exchange.
Crawford very active, very busy. Cunningham now on the attack, pressing Crawford, pushing him in the corner.
I think Cunningham may feel he's got the fight in the bag at this point. He's not really coming on to Crawford. Crawford seems he's playing catch-up.
Do you really think he's got it in the bag? How could
I don't know that he does.
Who would give him that kind of an impression? If I was in his corner, I'd say go out there and eliminate all doubt in those judges' minds.
Certainly, maybe he can't do that. Maybe he is just fatigued and doesn't feel he can put much more into it.
Crawford has put him under the kind of pressure that he has probably been under seldom, if ever, in his previous bouts. He's undefeated, the super lightweight champion of Canada, but he's been up against one of the better boxers, full contact karate fighters in Canada, in Dennis Crawford, and looks like it's going to go the distance. 5 seconds left, and the rematch should be good, Trevor.
Certainly. Oh, dude, what a fight. Incredible. 2 top Canadian kickboxers in the ring tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, by split decision, the red corner, Peter Cunningham.
You can't really argue with the result. It was a split decision, but Crawford looks tremendously disappointed, Trevor.
Probably a good decision. I think the as I said earlier, if this fight went the distance, Cunningham would probably take it on his flash.
And that's it for this special edition of Sports Page Weekend, originating from the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Super Battle 6, Full Contact Karate. Somewhat disappointing for local fight fans, but there will be more. Be watching for news of Super Battle 7. Until next week, so long, everybody.